Hello and welcome to the Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm Peter Lavelle. Okay, the topic of this podcast is twofold. We've just learned in the last few hours that Donald Trump refuses to participate in a virtual debate with Joe Biden that would be some kind of town hall format. Prior to this podcast, George and I were chatting, and he made the observation that Trump says no for now. And I think that's a good observation here. Why do you think, George, that's the case? Why did you say that to me? Go ahead.
Well, I think that Trump is clearly behind in the polls. He was widely seen not to have been terribly effective in the last debate. I mean, all the media nonsense that Biden won the debate is we can ignore all that, but he wasn't effective. So he needs to do something, and therefore he can't be seen to be ducking a debate. So what I think will happen is that he will start insisting on certain conditions being fulfilled, namely that there will be representatives of one another's campaign present during the debate, so that there won't be anybody offering Biden the answers. There won't be anyone giving signals, mumbling something into his earpiece, so that he will have representatives there to make sure that this doesn't happen. That's where I think it's going. If Trump were ahead, I think that's it. There wouldn't be any kind of a debate. But he has to shake up the race, and I think that's just an opening gambit by him.
But those doors are closing, because even if you have, with the conditions that you've set down, you will still have somebody with a finger on a button, mute.
Yes.
You're going to have that.
No, that's right. No, I think Trump has very good arguments not to show up. It's not a debate. A debate is when people are in some physical proximity to each other. They can gauge each other's reactions, voice intonations, facial expressions, and so on. When you're just simply, when you're somewhere, thousands of miles away, it just isn't really a proper debate. It'll just simply be mini speeches, and worse, because there is likely to be opportunities for cheating.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to keep an eye on this as it develops. Let's talk about last night's debate between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. Kind of milquetoast in many ways. I was, just before we convened, I went through like Politico and The Hill and all that. I'm really sick and tired of these postmodernists writing about politics. I mean, her gender and her race and all that. I got a clear message for people watching this podcast. If you want to get into politics, it's a blood sport, okay? It's tough and it's mean, okay? And you're always going to look for weaknesses and advantages, okay? It's called politics. I'm so tired of working. She's entitled. No, she's not. She's running for the second most powerful office in the land. And if elected, she may end up in the White House herself. So I welcome the scrutiny, and I welcome the tough and tumble of politics. Having said that, George, there's really only one thing that I took away, and that was the visual, the plexiglass.
Right.
You know why? And that was done on purpose. That's fear-mongering. Fear-mongering. That's what it was. And I don't know why Pence agreed to it, okay? I don't know why they agreed to it, okay? Because the Harris people were able to present that as the issue, okay? My position is there is a virus. It affects a very small number, I mean, in a lethal way, a very, very small number of people in the population. We must be vigilant. I'm not against masks in large groups of people. And when I'm in the Moscow underground, I'm not even adverse to wearing gloves. But I don't like touching things in public anyway. That's just me, okay? But that plexiglass there, that said a lot to the audience here. And it's not the message, okay? And I was very, very disappointed with the moderation. Again, you predicted it. You hit that one out of the park, okay? And Kamala Harris would not answer direct questions, okay? And Mike Pence, oh, he's so rude. But yeah, since there wasn't going to be an answer, he asked the questions. That's called a debate, just like you said.
Yes. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. I absolutely agree with all of your points. And the point is that, rough and tumble of debate. Now, Margaret Thatcher, a very successful politician, not once, not once did she ever claim that people were rude to her or picking on her because she was a woman. No one ever attacked her and said, made any kind of comments about her being a woman or making any derogatory comments about her because she was a woman. All of the attacks against her, and she was a very controversial figure, were about policy. It was never an issue that she's a woman. And in fact, it often went the other way, that the Tories who refused to go along with her were somehow less than men. That they were just somewhat effeminate. That's hence the word the wets, the Tory wets. And so it was ridiculous when we had the post-mortems immediately after the debates on CNN and MSNBC when they said Pence was mansplaining. That awful expression, mansplaining.
Wokeism.
Yes. She was extremely bad. I think her performance was an absolute train wreck. And she went back to her dismal performances in those early primary debates. She mouthed all of the cliches from that time. Trump is betraying his America's friends and cozying up to dictators. And then, of course, we had and then we had, of course, Putin. And, he's taking the side of Putin over our intelligence agencies. And then, of course, all the old chestnuts, the good people, the fine people on all sides. And then she was smirking, disrespectful. She was unable to, express her disagreement with Trump without being personally disrespectful, which again shows her amateurishness. You want to be able to separate the two things. You're against the president, but you're not disrespectful towards him as a person. She wasn't able to do that.
Would you take a vaccine? I thought that was one of the pettiest answers that I've ever heard in politics in my lifetime. Okay, I thought you people were the people of the science people. Well, if scientists, look, I mean, this is what got Trump elected in the first place, the deplorable approach, okay? It just shows me the smugness and the sense of privilege that these people have. I found her performance appalling, to be honest with you. Okay? And then let's talk about history. Someone that you like, Abraham Lincoln. And okay, Lincoln didn't put forward a nominee for the Supreme Court shortly before the election. That was his prerogative under the law. Okay? So Kamala Harris doesn't understand. She's actually was a lawyer at one time. I mean, she passed the LSAT.
Attorney General.
She passed the LSAT. That would be a stupid logic question on the LSAT. Okay, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Though she said it in a very smug way. All right.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right. And the sort of hilarious moments, such as I was out protesting after the George Floyd killing, and she said, "Now this woman is a senator from California. She's a former attorney general of the greatest state in the United States. Why is she out on the street protesting? Why isn't she in the halls of power crafting legislation or using her power?" I mean, it's like, I was out there protesting. Well, why the hell are you protesting? Why aren't you doing something useful that you were elected to do? So you've got a sense what an utter lightweight she really is.
Well, you know what it was? It was an audition for the presidency. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
Well, and of course, she clearly showed herself not to be up to that job. I mean, she is a lightweight. She really wasn't up on any of the issues. The China thing, she made a complete hash of a China thing. Even on the issue where she was on the right side, like the Iran agreement from which Trump withdrew, she made the nonsense by saying that Iran has a substantial nuclear arsenal, and that's all Trump's fault. That Iran now is a substantial nuclear arsenal. So completely flubbed.
But of course, there's never any Pinocchios mentioned about that kind of stuff ever. Okay.
Right.
Oh
Right.
my goodness. You know,
Right.
what Trump had to say to Putin in Helsinki was true. You know, is that the intelligence agencies are after me. Why should I trust them? But see, nobody. You know, you don't have to be smart to be in media. I mean, just watch CNN and MSNBC. Okay.
No.
Okay.
And that,
Look
that's
like
right,
you.
yeah,
That's the prerequisite.
right. Exactly, and that's what I was thinking. That when this today with the Presidential Debates Commission that runs these debates made this announcement without consulting anyone, consulting the president, consulting the Biden campaign, you really got a sense that they shouldn't be running these debates. I mean, they've made a complete hash of it by appointing these mediocre journalists with mediocre minds, asking mediocre questions. I mean, the debate should be taken away from this debates commission. I mean, this is the way they run it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, what you were mentioning about Susan Page's performance, her questions were idiotic. We're talking about the federal government. Why is she bringing up Breonna Taylor? I mean, that's a local policing issue. What has the president got to do with that? And then other things, climate change. It's way down. It's about number 10 on the issues that voters are concerned about at the moment. Brings up abortion. Why are we talking about abortion? No one's debating abortion.
And it's such a trigger. That segment really stands out in my mind. It's as if the vote is pending. It's in 1 hour, and Roe versus Wade is going to be gone. You know, it's not even in front of the courts. See, these people are very, they have very fragile minds. They have low octane intelligence. In the Supreme Court, they will decide to hear cases presented to them that they think that will clarify the law. And there are many people, and honest people would say that abortion ruling was a very weak one, okay? And that it left open a lot of questions. It's not definitively closed. But folks, irrespective of how you feel on that issue, it's not before the court it's not even in some kind of planner, okay?
Right.
But that's the trick. See, I started out, they play on fear. They're playing on fear.
Right.
Okay, we're almost out of time. I just wish that the Trump campaign just had a better a foil to push it back. I thought Pence did a good job, old-fashioned, and I appreciated the fact that he didn't let things slip. Okay, as if it's assumed, everything's assumed. Oh, I'm sorry if he was perceived as being rude, because nobody is going to fact check these things at all. Having said that, I don't agree with many things. I disagree with the Trump-Pence administration. I want to make that very clear. And we're looking very specifically at this debate in its optics here. Last word goes to you, George.
No, I think so. I think that Pence, boring man though he is, and a mundane person he is experienced enough to be an effective debater. And effective debaters are often not the exciting of people. Al Gore, really boring man, was actually an effective debater. He tended to get the better of his opponents in all of his debates. However annoying he was an effective debater. And I thought Pence put in an effective performance last night.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan wasn't an effective debater at all, but he did say some things like, "There you go again."
There you go. He has a great one-liners. Yeah.
I will not yet let the relative youthfulness and inexperience of my opponent.
Yes.
We all remember them. We all.
And of course, there was also, I'm paying for this microphone.
I'm paying for this. No, so we're gonna remember. Shut up, you clown. You're Putin's puppy. Sorry, Joe. Those aren't memorable. Okay, because they're not smart. Okay. No. They pander to fear and scaremongering. Okay, George, we're going to keep a close eye on this. I think we got 23 days, so it's we'll get through it one way.
Yeah, we got maybe a debate next week. Who knows?
All right, talk to you soon. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe to the Gaggle. We'll have a lot more for you ahead.